Hey everyone, welcome to Game Grid's FNM match review, video 3 for FNM that took place on May 25th. I'm Dan.
This is Drew.
And in our last video, we're going to be covering Drew's Delver deck versus Spencer's Reanimator deck. Spencer ended up winning this week with his deck that he's been tweaking for, I believe he says he's been working on it for a few weeks now. I played against it a few weeks ago in one of our feature matches that ended up winning, despite the whole Bonfire Thalia play, because there's other win conditions on the board. But he's stuck with it, and he's been refining it and tweaking it, and he keeps bringing it back. And so what we're going to see is game 1 of him versus Drew.
Yep. So playing Delver again. This is the final round. We're both undefeated. We took a draw, but we're playing it out for the camera because it's more interesting that way.
Indeed. I played Spencer the round before this. He won, 2-1. Game 1, he was able to use his deck to stick a turn for Sheldred, and in game 3, he did kind of what Drew mentioned, and if you watch video 2, where Drew's sideboard kind of morphs Delver into more of a control deck, Spencer's sideboard shifts into a control deck mode as soon as he starts to see signs of graveyard hate. He ends up taking out some reanimation cards. He leaves some of them in there, but he focuses more on threats he can cast from his hand, which he does in Game 3 versus me, and he might have done it in Game 3 versus you, but we're watching Game 1 here because it's a good show of how his deck runs and how efficient it can be.
Yep, he pretty much gets... To be fair, I do see a lot of the cards he has, and really the only card he has for his reanimation piece so far is Unburial Rites. He does have a Zombie Infestation, which is a discard outlet, so it will allow him to get reanimation targets, but I could Taxian Probe him twice, don't see any big fat creatures like Grizzlebrand or anything like that yet. So he plays a Zombie Infestation, and I'm pretty much on the Snapcaster, draw some extra cards, beatdown plan.
So Zombie Infestation, if you don't know, it was originally printed, I think, in
Odyssey.
Odyssey, that's right.
I believe it's Odyssey. It's the Odyssey block, and I think it's the actual set Odyssey.
And it'll let you discard 2 cards to put a 2/2 zombie into play. Yep. So it's, like he said, it's an outlet for his discard to allow him to not only get stuff in the graveyard, kind of provide him butts to get in the way of the aggro decks.
Yeah, and here, for example, he can make a blocker by discarding 2 cards and block my Snapcaster. I do have a Vapor Snag, though, so I figure if that's his game plan, then I'm just going to snag the token and force him to have to discard 4 cards if he wants to kill my 1 Snapcaster.
And that Snapcaster's already brought Gitaxian Probe back. It's got an extra card. It's checked his extra draw. So he's done some work.
Yeah, and this is the kind of matchup where I need early pressure. So that's why I really want to play Snapcaster as early as I can if that's the only creature I have, because I don't have a Delver here, obviously.
Sure, because the longer he lets this game go, his creatures in this deck are things like Grizzlebrand, Sheldred, Elish Norn.
His late game is superb. I cannot effectively beat his late game, so I need to kill him quickly. He drew a Lingering Souls here, which is kind of annoying because it means he can very effectively block Snapcaster. I top deck a Sword of War and Peace, figure, all right, now I do have a game plan, which is I'm just going to play Sword. I have a Faith Shield in my hand, so I'm like, I actually feel really good in this game because I have a Sword of War and Peace that'll let me beat through his guys. I have a Faith Shield, which can protect either the Snapcaster or the Sword of War and Peace, so I've assembled a pretty good position here. However, he's going to show when his good draw can beat my, reasonably decent draw.
So in the graveyard goes Unburial Rites and Sheldred.
Yep.
Which is then Unburial Rites from the graveyard.
Yep, and Face Shield is not going to stop a Sheldred trigger from me sacking a Snapcaster Mage.
And, without being able to play more than one creature turn, it's really hard to, even if you even if you Vapor Snag Sheldred, the damage has been done, and that's a 4-minute game as you take those really powerful endgame creatures and stick them on turn 4. All the ramp decks in the world, you stick a creature like Sheldred or Elish Norn, and their effects are almost immediately felt. Elish Norn will affect the board state as soon as it hits, regardless of what your response is afterwards. And Sheldred, sticking around till your upkeep, will greatly affect your board no matter what you do afterwards.
Yeah, that game right there is a perfect example of pretty much one of the better draws Spencer can ask for, which is not only did I get a little bit of resistance with Zombie Infestation and Lingering Souls, I got to play my fatty on turn 4. So,
and your situation in most cases, you've been like, I got Snapcaster, I got a sword, I'm feeling good.
Yeah, exactly. but having not only him having blockers, but him having just that guy with those continual effects of me having to sacrifice a creature and him getting to return a creature means that the game ends in very short order. So, yeah, that's pretty much how Spencer's deck functions. So pretty cool deck. He, like I said, he actually beat me in some very close next game 2 and game 3, a little bit closer, but he ends up squeaking it out and gets the win on me.
So it's a fun deck to look at. The list is up online at playgamegrid.com. If you're looking for something a little, I don't know, off, a little different than your standard, Delver list or zombie list that you see in a lot of different things. It's awesome that he's taken this deck, kind of made it his own and stuck with it and shows that it can perform, Those creatures will end games, against another player. He was playing Justin Sloan, and he was able to stick a worm coil a couple times, and no amount of Day of Judgments that Justin could draw to wipe that board was going to be enough to stop those recurring creatures, every time a Grizzleband goes to the graveyard and Unbarrel Rights brings it back and things like that.
Yep, exactly.
So we hope you enjoyed this week's videos. We had a long one. We had a couple short ones for a little more bite-sized viewing pleasure. So we hope you'll check back when we do some more videos. And until next time, thanks for watching our videos.
Yep, thanks for watching, guys.